Hi guys, I welcome you all to the next lecture in our anthropology series. So yesterday we had started 9.4. We had done Down syndrome. We had done Patau syndrome, and these were part of the autosomal aberrations that can happen. Right before that, we had studied the sex chromosomal aberrations. In that, we had studied Klinefelter. Right. So super female, super male, all of those. Okay. So now today we are going to start with the Edward syndrome. This is the next one that comes in the autosomal diseases. So in this is trisomy number 18, right? So Down syndrome, trisomy 21. Edward syndrome, Edward syndrome, trisomy 18. Patau syndrome, trisomy 13, right? So you need to remember these, okay? Okay, so trisomy 13, again go back to the same picture. Now 18th chromosome, which is this one, will have normal looks like this. The with trisomy it will look something like this, right? So this becomes now the abnormal karyotype for a person who's having the Edward syndrome. Okay, so now what are the features? They will have clenched fingers. See, almost many of them will be overlapping. For example, clenched fingers we also saw in the Patau syndrome. Okay, deformities of feet we saw in Patau also. Okay, then malformations of intestine. This is new. ठीक है and ऐसा भी नहीं है कि it can never happen to a person having Patau syndrome or Down syndrome. ऐसा नहीं है, ठीक है. So most of the things would be overlapping only, but if there is any you can say unique to a character, unique to a syndrome that you need to remember, ठीक है. जैसे कि Down syndrome में the tongue is always protruding, so that is a feature which is very unique to Down syndrome children, ठीक है. Then Turner syndrome में we saw that brown spots on the body, ठीक है. So if you remember this one thing which is unique to some of the syndromes, वो that'll fetch you extra marks, ठीक है ना. Because बाकी तो congenital heart formations है, kidney defects है, eye defect है, hearing defect है, there is weak muscles are there, ठीक है, short height is there, all of these are going to be there, ठीक है ना. So these are the general ones that you're going to write in every which ways, in every syndrome, right? But there are certain special that you have to write. For example, these flexed fingers, ठीक है, और clenched fingers and cleft lip palate, ठीक है, ये Edward and Patau syndrome both में they are common and unique. That means cleft palate, ठीक है, is there to in an Edward syndrome child also, ठीक है, and in a Patau syndrome child also, ठीक है. So these are certain things that you need to remember. Then there is microcephaly, ठीक है, of head. So these are certain things that you have to remember. Microcephaly also we saw yesterday. That means the short head. We saw it in the Patau syndrome also. It is there in the Edward syndrome also. So these are certain things that you have to remember, and you have to write, not write like short head, but you use the word microcephaly, ठीक है. Okay, so now just see the ones that I've shown here, then we'll look at the picture. So they have clenched fingers, they have deformities of feet, ठीक है, then malformation of intestine, receding lower jaw, ठीक है, small triangular mouth, malformed and low set ears, heart defects, and life expectancy is very low. Mean survival is only 102 days. In case of Patau, we saw it was around 132 days, right? So it was less than 5 months. This is less than 4 months. Okay, so very short lifespan of a person who has these diseases. So I have just put a karyotype also for a person suffering with the Edward syndrome, ठीक है. Therein you can see chromosome number 18 has the aberration. In case of normal, they have the trisomy. Okay, now if you have to write a karyotype, now let's try and write the karyotypes also. जैसे हम कल लिख रहे थे for a Down syndrome child, पहले हम ऊपर नॉर्मल का लिख देते हैं, we'll just write the normal karyotype, which is 44 autosomal plus either XX or XY. ठीक है, this is the normal karyotype which makes it 46 chromosome. ठीक है, in case of Down syndrome it would be 45 autosomal with trisomy 21, and either it would be XX or an XY. So total 47 instead of 46. So this way you can write the karyotype for Patau syndrome and Edward also. And next we are going to do the Cri-du-chat. For that also you can write, right? So this will help you, this chart can help you to remember easily you know, the syndrome. ठीक है ना? So this is just for your understanding, you can remember it. Now you can see they have shown they have heart deformities, ठीक है, they have intestinal deformities, then there is deformity of hips, okay, then growth failure, mental retardation, ठीक है, open skull sutures at birth. Now you don't need to remember so many. There is microcephaly, ठीक है, and micrognathia भी दिखाया है इसमें. Microcephaly, micrognathia क्या होता है? Basically our face, if we look at the face from side view, it will look like this. That means we have the chin, ठीक है, and somebody's chin जो हम पहले कर रहे थे when we were doing the evolution, we saw we were looking at prognathism. That means the chin was protruding outwards, है ना? So if the chin is protruding outward like this, we call it prognathism, right? So if the chin is missing or it's very small, तो we'll call it micrognathism, ठीक है ना? So gnathia or gnathism is related to your chin. Then this is how you are going to remember it. Micro means small, prognathism means protruding, right? So this is the way you can keep on remembering. Cephaly is related to head, micro means small, so that means small head, right? So these are the things that you can use to remember, ठीक है? Then you see abnormal kidneys are there, ठीक है, high arched eyebrows are there, ठीक है, muscular hypertonus, that means weak muscles would be there, prominent heel is there, ठीक है, we saw yesterday also, ठीक है. So these are certain things that you can remember. Apart from this, there is you can say they have roctor bottom feet, ठीक है, yes, you can use these terms. Low set ears, ठीक है, cleft palate is there on the cleft lip is there, ठीक है, so you can write that also. Clenched fingers there are, ठीक है. These are the things that we see in the Edward syndrome. Now let's go to the next one, that is Cri-du-chat, and this was Lejeune who was the first person who reported this, and in this we have deletion in the part of chromosome number 5. So basically ये थोड़ा different इसलिए है because इसमें there is no trisomy. अभी तक whatever we studied in the autosomal aberrations में, we saw that there were certain trisomy that was happening. Now here it is deletion. So deletion में क्या हो गया? Trisomy numerical हो गया, right? That means there was numerical change in the chromosome, but deletion structural change में आ जाएगा, right? So deletion is structural change. Now what happens? For example, you see this is the normal karyotype. Let me just rub this. Now what will happen? This is the chromosome number 5. It should have looked like this. But what happens is that, let me now draw that. मान लो ये था, this was chromosome number 5. It should have looked like this, ठीक है, in the normal case. But now what happens is there is deletion somewhere, so you say कि it is looking somewhat like this. So one arm in this case I have shown this arm, ठीक है, this arm I have shown. In this short arm there is deletion, ठीक है, and some part of the genetic material gets deleted in the case of Cri-du-chat. So you understand what we are doing, ठीक है. So patients in this case have a very peculiar weak cry, ठीक है, that means when they cry it's a very weak sound that they produce, and it resembles like a cat's mewing. Cat करती है ना, mew करती है, it sounds like that. The baby is very weak and small at birth. There is microcephaly, ठीक है. Excessively spaced eyes are there. The face is broad, flat, ठीक है, with flat nose. Health and life expectancy is very low, and there is severe mental retardation, which the IQ is around 20 to 40, which shows like very weak, very subnormal IQ, right? So if we have to look, see, widely spaced eyes, you can see normal insan mein there is not this much difference between the eyes. So ठीक है, one thing is that microcephaly है, there is small head, ठीक है. Chin is small, that means micrognathia is there. Low set abnormal ears, they are set little low, ठीक है. High pitched crying like a cat, ठीक है. The way the way cat mews, the sound, it is like that. That is why Cri-du-chat, in whichever language it is, it means that cry like, cat types, ठीक है. So then they have like swollen hands and feet, ठीक है. Congenital deletion on short arm of chromosome number 5, we have seen this. Downward slanting palpebral fissure, ठीक है. So downward sloping eyes भी आप बोल सकते हो. There are cardiac defects, ठीक है, ये भी लिख सकते हो आप, ठीक है. There are cardiac defects, ठीक है. Then you can write epicenthic fold on the eye, epicenthic fold on the eye. So ये Mongolian वो हो गया. Then there is simian crease on the hand, ठीक है. Simian crease on the hand. मैं ये वाले इसलिए बोल रही हूँ because these are the ones you know also and you can remember also, ठीक है. So these are the things that you can remember. So these were all the autosomal aberrations that we had to study, and with this we complete our 9.4's subtopic 3. Tomorrow one last topic is left. 9.4 ka part number 4 is left. We are going to do that. उसमें genetic imprinting है, and there are certain concepts like that we have to study. I think by tomorrow or maybe day after tomorrow we are going to finish this, and this was one of the important chapters. So I think, and one of the long chapters also in genetics. So I hope you liked the lecture. If you did, guys, please like, share and subscribe. Thank you.